Patch notes, no problem. We're the pre-patch podcast.
Moving on from that, speaking of Xbox acquisitions, what do you guys think about Avowed? You guys looked into this any? About Avowed, they released information that they will not be. It's not technically going to be an open world. It's like all handcrafted, like
Avowed.
Yeah. Avowed is black. What's their new name?
Obsidian.
Obsidian, yeah, the guys that made Outerworlds. They were the original creators of Fallout. The original they did Fallout New Vegas.
That's the only one they did.
No, they were the Obsidian was the original Fallout 1, 2, and 3, and then they sold it off to Bethesda.
Okay.
Or
maybe so.
3 was Bethesda. 1 and 2
was Bethesda.
1 and 2 was Obsidian, and then New Vegas was Obsidian as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think that sounds right.
But yeah, what do you guys think about this? This is supposed to be a huge game for Microsoft. Like this right here is supposed to be their Skyrim essentially.
Yeah, well, I've been on this for years, and I've been so tossed and back and forth because they come out with gameplay and it looks like shit, and then they come out with more gameplay and it's like, all right, well, maybe it's not. There's a chance, and then they come out with this, and I'm open to it because there are like. You can still have a fairly open world and not be called an open world. It just depends on how big it is,
I think this is a great idea.
Do you?
Yeah,
I do.
So is it just because you feel like it's gonna more directly, because like the way that I look at it is like I'm kind of on the fence with it. In certain aspects, I'm like, this is a good move because like they're saying in this interview, essentially they can control what the player is experiencing at any given time, right? Which is good.
Like
which is what and coming from like Skyrim, coming from Bethesda games where like yes, they give you complete freedom to do whatever the fuck you want to, but it's at certain points in those games, I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what what do I do now? Like
I think there does need to be some sort of direction.
So you want a more linear experience. Got it.
And again, that's why I'm on the fence.
Linear it is.
Yeah, that's why I'm on the fence, is because like I do enjoy those games like Bethesda's original games like Skyrim, where it's just like they throw you into a fucking world and you do whatever the fuck you want to, right? Those are great. So I loved those games, but moving into like my older age, I'm like, dude, I just don't have time to do that. Like give me a good narratively driven story that I don't have to figure out, okay, I did this, now I need to go over here. That's a good thing in my book in a lot of instances. I still want that freedom, and it doesn't sound like they're taking that away in complete, right? Like it doesn't sound like they're completely removing your freedom. You can still kind of do whatever the fuck you want to. It's just each individual section of the game is going to be like focused directly into one specific storyline, right? Instead of instead of just being like one big open world where you can go over here and you're in a completely different storyline, but like if you step like 2 feet over here, you're in a completely different storyline, right?
So my question to you is, I need an example. So for me, I feel like The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt was linear but open. It was still very open, but you knew where to go. It always pointed you in the right direction. I feel like, in my personal opinion, and these are two totally different games, but Legend of Zelda, the latest, not the latest one, which one? Tears of the Kingdom. I feel like that's too open. That, in my opinion,
so those are very good examples of the two. Like this game, from what they're saying, and I'll just read this. He says, we know roughly what you've done before we've gotten to the next thing. It's still a very open structure within these zones, where you can do whatever you want to for the most part, but it's not one contiguous area where you could be anywhere at any moment. They say that you never know where the player is and what they're doing at any given time, so having these zones that happen in sequence means we can always know what content we're pushing, essentially, what content you've just come from on the critical path. Maybe not with side quests and everything like that, but like I said before, these zones that you're in are going to be open enough that you can kind of feel like it's an open world, but at the same time, the zone you're in has a very structured, very on rails almost storyline when it comes down to like the main story.
So God of War. God of War.
Kinda.
I don't know. I think
Maybe-
God of War
maybe-
was
It's
kind of
It's gonna be
open
more
but
open than God
linear.
of War, yeah.
maybe a little
think
more
more
open
open
than
than
God of War. Yeah.
Well, even so, that's still not too bad. Like,
Yeah, it's
like
not.
God of War for
Dude,
me was fairly fucking
did-
open. If you
Did
want to get
anyone
technical,
play the Outer Worlds here?
I played it a
God of
little
War.
bit.
I played a little
that's-
bit. I know what you're talking about.
That game was the same idea, really.
Yeah.
It was a instanced. Each instance was like a different planet you went to. Same with Borderlands 3. I think that game did it as well, where it wasn't completely open world, but you went to different planets, and that's essentially what this is. It's just each planet is a new biome or zone. I think honestly, this is probably going to
I
be
think it's a good
fine,
move.
as long as like
We'll
there's
see.
still enough in the zones and they're still big enough, but also not too big, because that's the problem with open world games that a lot of these games have, is when they are too big, you're going to find a lot of dead space if they're not well crafted and very thought out and thorough. So that's where I'm like, all right, I can see this being a good thing, because maybe there won't be as much dead space and like just kind of like nothing to do in that world. So
I agree.
I'm definitely open to it.
Yeah, I agree
about
completely.
it.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. And to kind of close it out, I think they need to make a statement like this, because a lot of the
I do
PR
too.
from like third-party sources and stuff has been saying this is Obsidian Skyrim, and I think they
Skyrim,
need to curb that expectation like right off the game, before the game even comes out, so that people don't go into it saying, "Hey, what?
They rode on that for
Skyrim,
a
this
good
is so
minute.
small. What the hell?"
They definitely rode on that shit for a good minute.
They
'cause
did.
That's all.
They
ever
100%
since we
did.
saw. I think it was like 2021 Summer Game Fest or some shit is when we originally saw it. Something like that. I don't know. They definitely played it out to be like
They leaned
their
into
Skyrim,
it.
'cause
It was their
that's what we
Skyrim. If I
all-
remember correctly, they had jokes about the fact that like it was made by the people that made Fallout New
Yeah.
Vegas, and this is
yeah. So
Get everybody
yeah,
hyped up for it.
Yeah.
but,
No,
yeah,
I
they
agree.
definitely-
I'm
they
looking
needed
forward to
say it.
seeing it. I'm still on the fence though about it, because like I just everything, like all the gameplay that I've seen, I'm just
Hey,
like, I'm not
don't worry,
impressed,
guys.
dude.
I'll get it, but it's gonna be for the podcast.
It's
of
gonna be for the
course.
podcast.
Just-
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
gonna be
yeah,
for the
yeah.
podcast.
Wait. Scruff. Let me get it, right? And you get
No,
the
I don't
Assassin's
know.
Creed.
Assassin's
The only
Creed.
reason I say that, hold on.
I'm
Hear
just
me out.
saying, No.
The only reason I say
Assassin's
that.
Creed is going to have rats though, so you're gonna want that one.
Oh,
All right, you're gonna want
Oh
the rats.
no.
Yep. I'm just saying. So you can keep
No,
Assassin's
but the reason
Creed.
but some people, like, the reason I say do that is only because I'm gonna be a little jaded, so my opinion the game may be fire,
Only.
and
That's
I may
that's
shit
the
on
only
it, you know what I'm
reason.
saying?
That's the only
it
reason.
may be fire, and I may shit on it, so I don't want
Oh,
that to
man.
happen. So that's why I was like, yeah, Scruff, you do that, and I'll do it.
You got this, bro.
All right,
Yo, you
I'll
got
buy it
this,
on my
bro.
account,
Fine.
and you buy that on your account. We'll trade accounts for like a day, and we'll
Oh,
all right.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Jesus.
Well, you're all patched up. And on behalf of the Pre-Patch Podcast, thanks. But if you want to come and check us out live, we do a show every other Thursday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube and Twitch.